And well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watch UK99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. Here we go. Week 3 in the NFL season, and the New York Jets still searching for that elusive first win. Travel down to Tampa Bay to take on the 2-0 Buccaneers. We're going to get into this matchup. But Jet fans, if you're looking for a little bit of hope, remember, Baltimore, Denver, and the Rams all started last year at 0-2 and went on to make the playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. I know. Anyway, the game will be at 1 p.m. in Raymond James Stadium. This is the third straight year Tampa Bay has opened a season 2-0. No other team in the league has done that. However, they have never gone to that 3-0 mark. Now, they had a very narrow win Monday night over Houston, so the Jets do get one more day of rest. We'll see if that makes a difference. Let's break down these matchups. We're going to start when the Jets have the football and are on offense going against the Tampa Bay defense. So with Tyrod Taylor playing quarterback now, count on a few more shots down the field. So the last time Tyrod Taylor started a string of games was 2023, started 5 games with the Giants. In those 5 games, he had 27 passes of 20 or more yards. He went 11 of 27, 424 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So those 27 passes, 20 yards downfield, that accounted for 15% of his total passes. He likes to throw down the field, and even though Justin Fields at this point is certainly a better athlete than Tyrod Taylor, Fields is not a great thrower of the deep ball like Tyrod Taylor can be. Now, the Buccaneers are coming into this game beat up. Kalijah Cansey, their top defensive tackle, and maybe their best pass rusher, is done for the year now with the torn pec muscle that he suffered on Monday. Huge piece of that D that has not done a great job pressuring the quarterback to begin with. Now, you could tell me that the Jets faced the Bills without Ed Oliver and it made no difference. Well, I find it very hard to believe the Jets will no-show this game the way they did week 2 against Buffalo. Also up the middle, Vita Vea can definitely stop the run. And linebacker, Servosier Dennis, hope I got the name somewhat right. He is a premier run defender and can tackle very, very well. He's like our C.J. Mosley from back in the day, or Jamian Sherwood now. He will usually lead the Buccaneers in tackles. But in coverage, he's a bit of a liability. He's been targeted 12 times this year, and he's allowed 10 catches for 228 yards. So if a Mason Taylor, somebody like that, can get on him one-on-one, get that one-on-one coverage, there's a good chance that you can exploit Dennis and make some big plays there. Levante David, well, he's been around forever, doesn't it feel like? He's 35 years old. And I didn't want to mention him, but they have some pass rusher, Roddick or Ruddick or whatever his name. Yes, Hassan Reddick is in Tampa Bay. And already in 2 games, 11 pressures and a sack on 56 pass rush snaps. Unbelievable. So Armand Membu will have the job of stopping him. And I'll tell you one thing. It was one thing with Aaron Rodgers. I can't bear the thought of Hassan Reddick wrecking this game. So Armand Membu, shut his ass down. And Todd Bowles is doing some interesting things. Like, he's dropping Reddick back into coverage on 3rd downs at times. That's an interesting way to go. But the secondary does look quite good for Tampa Bay. That might be the strength of that defense, actually. Because Tyrod Taylor, as we said, he likes to throw deep. But I don't know if this is the secondary where you want to be doing it too much. You got Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum at cornerback. They drafted Benjamin Morrison in the 2nd round this year. Our old buddy Bryce Hall is there. They may not have a true number 1 cornerback, but they have a number of guys who they could plug in, rotate. They like to change the matchup. So how are they going to try to contain Garrett Wilson? Will they stick with Dean? Will they stick with McCollum? Will they rotate? Will they double team him? I'm very curious how Tampa Bay plans to contain Garrett Wilson. And it's worked so far. They held Drake London to 55 yards. They held Nico Collins to 52 yards and a touchdown. And then at safety, you've got Antoine Winfield Jr., one of the best in the league, and Tyke Smith with a team-high 17 tackles, and he could blitz once in a while too. So I think it's a situation where the Jets definitely have to run the ball, and the short intermediate passes are going to have to work. Try to target those linebackers as opposed to the secondary, and try to get some yards after the catch. That's what I'm really looking at here. All right, then let's do what we always do. Let's flip the script when the Jets are on defense facing this Bucs offense. Well, Baker Mayfield, I don't know if he's a top 5 quarterback in the league, but he's, in my mind, definitely top 7, top 8. and he's finally starting to get the respect he's been looking for years. It's amazing. Since 2023, he's got more passing yards and more touchdowns than Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, or Burrow. Baker Mayfield has more than all four of them. That's pretty amazing. But the running game is really the heart of the offense. You got Bucky Irving and Rachaad White. Bucky is the more flashy one. He's got the speed. But Rachaad White, he averaged over 6 yards per carry against Houston. So here's the thing. If Quinnen, Juwan Briggs, and Harrison Phillips and company, if they can't contain the running backs, forget it. It's going to be another horrible day for this defense. A defense that's allowed 64 points in 2 games. Now, at wide receiver, you got to deal with Mike Evans. He is what he is. Size, experience, catching ability, one of the best of his generation. And now you add Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State, a dynamic young receiver, very possibly an offensive rookie of the year. Now, he did miss practice Wednesday and Thursday with a hip and groin issue. The latest I've heard is the expectation is he is going to play. I don't know if he's going to be a full go, but the Jets have to have a plan for Egbuka. Now, Michael Carter II, he practiced Thursday. He is questionable for this game, but the fact that he practiced Thursday, I think that's a good sign for Sunday. So Carter, Isaiah Oliver, I expect Sauce to be traveling with Evans, but the Jets have to figure out how they contain Egbuka because I don't have a whole lot of confidence that Brandon Stevens is going to be up to the task. But the Bucs are missing some receivers. Chris Godwin has not played this year. Jalen McMillan, who had the second most receiving touchdowns last year for the Bucs, is on IR. Their third option is actually Sterling Shepard, the ex-Giant. You've got Cade Otton at tight end, and he's never going to lead the team in catches, but he has a knack for getting a few big catches in a game. But here's the thing that we got to look at with the Bucs offense. Their offensive line is beat up. Here, let me just give you an idea. Their starting center is now playing left tackle. It's so bad, they actually signed Dan Feeney. You remember Dan Feeney from the Bills practice squad? He had the mullet and the mustache, and he chugged beer really well at hockey games. That's about all he did well. Okay, that was it. Tristan Wirfs has not suited up this year at left tackle. He's out. Cody Mauch, their right guard, hurt his knee against Houston. He's out for the year. Luke Gedeke hurt his foot, their right tackle. He's out several weeks, and he's a very, very good run blocker. This is going to mess with the Tampa Bay offense. They love running outside that right tackle with Irving. It's going to become a lot less effective potentially now. And Rachaad White, he's the one who tends to run inside more. And this is the frustrating thing as a Jets fan is that Jermaine Johnson is not going to play. If JJ was playing, I would feel really good about the Jets being able to stop this Tampa Bay offense. But instead, what are we going to be looking at? 50 snaps again from Michael Clemens? Great, just great. But I'll tell you this. Last week, Michael Clemens had more snaps than any defensive end on the Jets. It better be Will McDonald this week. I don't care if he's a liability in the run game. I know he can get to the passer. I know he can do that. He's one of the best in the league at doing it. And he's going up against a backup tackle in Graham Barton. And Houston has a really good defense, and they schooled Barton on Monday. And Baker Mayfield took quite a beating as a result. This is a game, I think, where Will McDonald and Quinnen Williams up the middle really have to show out. They have to show they are among the team's best players. I am really needing those two guys to take it over. All right, couple other game notes. The heat index will be over 100. It is going to be hot, hot, hot in Western Florida. Jets better be ready. They better have some shade going above them. They better have some ice water, some Gatorade, some Prime, some pickle juice for the cramps that are likely to be messing with them. So they better be prepared. Tampa Bay is going to be wearing their throwback white creamsicle uniforms from the mid-'70s, so the Jets will be wearing green. And in the heat, wearing white does matter. And again, the fact the Jets have so little depth, especially at defensive end, that's another reason this offense is going to have to run the ball well, control the clock, and allow the defense to breathe. I mean, the defense, I think, played about 25 snaps more than the offense last week. That has got to change. And on special teams, Chase McLaughlin is the Buccaneers kicker. He is 1 for 3 on field goals this year, 4 for 5 on extra points. And if you're looking for any kind of optimism as a Jets fan, about the best thing I've got to say to you is the Jets have a .769 winning percentage in franchise history against Tampa Bay. They have a better winning percentage against Tampa Bay than any other franchise in the NFL. So if that makes you feel better, fantastic. So that is the breakdown for this game. We shall see what happens. Everybody, enjoy the game. Enjoy your weekend. And I will see you all right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.